Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me today for Georgia PTA's National Reflections Program training. I am your Georgia PTA Reflection Specialist, Angela Dover, and my email address is reflections@Georgia, spell out the whole word, pta.org. And you can contact me there anytime if you need anything, any help with your program. I am happy to do what I can to help you out. So that video I just wanted to start with is the call for entries video, and you can get that on our website. Anything that I show you today is also available on the Georgia PTA website. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for joining today and for volunteering for this program. Obviously, I couldn't do any of this without your help. So thank you very much for helping and for volunteering. Okay, the first thing I wanted to go over with you is what they call the Local Leaders Guide. I love this thing because it has so much information in it, and it was invaluable to me when I first started doing reflections as a new person who knew nothing about reflections. This was so helpful. As you'll see, it has the 5 steps in hosting your program: how to get started, how to promote your program, coordinate the judging of the program, celebrate your students, wrap up, and figure out what you need to do for next year. But it has in it the local leader checklist, which I love because it keeps me on track. It tells me exactly what I need to do when I need to do it. You put in your dates for getting tasks accomplished, just like any other checklist, and then you can just go down the list and make sure, okay, I've registered, check, or I've got my judges organized, or whatever. But I love that checklist because it helps me stay organized and keeps me on track. The other thing that I think is wonderful in this is the instructions for judges. Not only does it give the instructions for the judges, but it has the scorecard and the scoring rubric in it, which helps explain to your judges exactly what they're looking for or what they should be judging on, which I think is great. But it also lets you see exactly what the judges should be looking for and how they should be judging. So I think that's super helpful with that as well. I like a different scorecard than the one that they provide in this local leaders guide. So you'll see on the website under the reflections judging scorecard that it's different. I like the horizontal one versus the vertical one just because I think you can write more on the horizontal one, and so it gives the judges a little more room. But anyway, totally preference, so you can use whichever one you want. Okay, enough of that. So let's go to the student entry form, or the student entry packet, as we call it. For this, I like, it's got 3 pages, but for the most part, they're all very customizable. So you can, put in your instructions, or, whatever you want to use, you can put in there. So I like that for this form. Just a sec, I need to move this over just a tidge bit. So you can put in your dates, what location, you want the forms to be at, where the entries are going to be due, that kind of thing. So that's up here at the top. So like here you can put entries are due to Angie Dover by October 16th at the Media Center. I like the Media Center just because it's centrally located in all the schools, and pretty much every kid knows where the Media Center is, so it's easy for them to find. Obviously, this year is going to be air quotes different. It's probably not going to be the usual program year. So, depending on how things go, will be how your dates are going to be scheduled. So, my main plan for this year is to be extremely flexible, so that if schools don't go back to face-to-face schools before the end of October, then we will have to push the dates back, and that's totally fine. I just want to encourage everyone to still do some sort of program. So if your school does not get back to face-to-face, say before the end of the year, still have a program. Even if you have to do a virtual display of the entries and a virtual celebration, still do something. I'm listing tips every so many days on the Facebook page. I'm trying to do a tip every like 10 days or so. I think I'm a little bit behind right now, but I promise to catch up. But, and also if you have questions, just shoot me an email. And if you need me to walk you through something, I can totally call you and I can walk you through stuff. But still plan on a program. I have had contact with several councils and they are still planning to do some sort of program. Again, we don't know what things are going to look like exactly right now. We're hoping for the best, but we're planning for the worst, as my mom used to say. So, just plan on some sort of program. Don't plan on not having it just because it might be not the normal kind of program that we usually have. So on the entry form, I bunny trailed there a little bit, sorry. You'll notice that for the rules, I have underlined parts that I think are important, like for video files, the file cannot be longer than 5 minutes in length or 1,000 megabytes, and the acceptable formats for video are only MP4 and AVI format. Now, the acceptable format for music is MP3 or WAV format. The reason being is because the national website has changed their student entry portal, and those are the only formats that can be uploaded to that portal. So you would have seen, like in past years, if you'd done reflections, that there were several kinds of formats, probably 4 or 5 for each category that were acceptable. But now, because of the changes in the student entry portal, there's only MP3 or MP4 or AVI or WAV. Now, that being said, I highly, highly suggest that you do MP3 or MP4. And I say that to all my students, and I say that to all you guys for you to say to all your students. MP3 and MP4 can be opened on almost any computer. So then it can be judged. If it can be opened, it can't be judged. And so then it gets disqualified. So MP3, MP4. I can't stress that enough to you. You will also notice for music, film, and dance entries that it no longer says it can be submitted on a disc or a CD, because almost no computers now have disk drives. If you've bought a computer in the last couple of years, you will notice that it does not come with a disk drive unless you specifically purchase one with that added. They just don't come with that anymore. So I had to take that out of the rules. Now for this year, I will still accept entries that are on discs, but this will be the last year that entries on discs will be accepted. So go ahead and start getting your students prepped for for next year, when it will not be accepted on a disk drive and it will need to be turned in on a jump drive. I have had councils ask me about only doing entries that can be submitted digitally, like music, film, dance, and literature. And that's fine. Everybody can customize their program to what they think is best. But eventually, when it gets to me at the state level, it will need to be printed out if it's literature, or put on a jump drive if it's music, film, or dance, because I need the actual entries at the state level. And I don't have the resources to print out stuff or put stuff on jump drives that is submitted to me digitally. So I can't accept them digitally at the state level at this time, because we don't have the resources for that. So I would still say to your students to do the actual entries and turn them into you. what I am doing, because I am at the high school level, so it might be different for middle school or elementary school, but for this year, maybe not. I am asking or for my students to turn their stuff in the bucket. I'm providing I usually put out a basket, like a laundry basket or a Rubbermaid tote. And what I'm doing this year is asking the school, if we are not back to face-to-face school by, say, end of October, to please let me put a Rubbermaid tote or a laundry basket in front of the school, which is covered, to have the students turn in their entries, either there, or there's also a covered walkway in front of the gymnasium. The students could also drop their entries there, and I'm asking for some glass space at the front of the school to advertise my program. Now, I already have all my forms on my website, so that they can be downloaded and the kids can be working on their entries now. But that's my plan right now for school. If school gets opened back up, say by end of September, 1st of October, then I will, put everything at the media center like I normally do. So that's my plan. Okay, back to this form. Again, though, flexibility is key this year. So that's music, film, and dance. We talked about that. Photography, the print can be no smaller than 3 by 5 inches and no bigger than 8 by 10 inches. 8 by 10 right here. No bigger than that. Now, you see all the time where it says it can't be larger than 11 by 14. Well, that means with matting added. So mounted on mat or poster board, no larger than 11 by 14. So if a student submits an entry photography piece that is 11 by 14 inches, then they need to reduce that to 8 by 10. Now, it can be on a mat or a poster board frame, and then be no bigger than 11 by 14 inches, but the actual photograph cannot be bigger than 8 by 10. For 2D visual arts, it's the same, no bigger than 24 by 30 inches, and that includes matting. Framed entries are not acceptable. Also, for 2D pieces, it shouldn't be on stretched canvas, which is that canvas that has the wood frame, and then the canvas goes around the wood frame. That's fine. You're going to get those every year. Just take them and keep on moving with it. I tell the councils the same thing. The only time that would actually ever need to be removed from the canvas is if it wins at national and has to be submitted directly to national, and then that would be my problem. So just don't worry about it. Just keep on moving with it. Okay, for the 3D entries, they must come with at least 3 photography, sorry, 3 pictures of their artwork, and it should be from different angles. Again, this year, like the past couple of years, it cannot be bigger than 18 by 18 by 18. The reason for that is mostly for travel. Bigger pieces don't travel very well. And the entries should come to you packed for travel by the student. If they're not, please ask the student to provide you with that. You shouldn't be spending your money on that. You should spend your budget on the program advertising and celebrating the students, not on packaging. The second page of the student entry form is the official rules, which talks about eligibility, the categories, and grade divisions. Eligibility is any student who is at a school that is in good standing by the state. Okay, so any student who goes to a school that is in good standing with the state may participate in reflections. The student doesn't have to be a PTSA member, or their parent doesn't have to be a PTA member. They only have to attend a school that is in good standing with the state. All right, you will notice the special artist is still under grade divisions. So if you have someone who asks you to please, is my student considered to be special artist or not? One thing you can ask them right away is, do they have a 504 plan in place? If they don't have a 504 plan in place, then they probably are not a special ed student. That would be, like the student is in an IEP program, or they're in an IRR class or something like that. Or some, medical disability, something like that. But you can ask them that, and that's one quick way to find out. Now, just because they qualify as a special artist student does not mean they have to enter as a special artist entrant. They can still enter as a regular student entry. Okay, on the actual entry form, you will see at the top this gray box. That is your information that you need to fill out before you put it on the website for kids to get. So the top part is your PTA name. The second one is your 8-digit ID number. Now, if your ID number is 1234 or something like that, it's smaller than 8 digits, all you do is put 4 zeros in front of that number, and that makes up the rest of the 8 digits. Like you'll see down here, the state ID number is only 5 digits. So when I'm communicating with the state, I have to put, with national, sorry, I have to put the other 3 zeros in front of that. But otherwise, you don't need that. You can just put 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that you're going to have 4 zeros in front of that. Local program chair, that would be you. Put your name, your email address, and your phone number. If you don't want to put your private email address, please make up some email address for Reflections Only, so that the students can communicate with you that way, or put your cell phone or your home phone, whichever one you check the least if you want, just so that there is some way for students to get in touch with you and for me to get in touch with you, or the council chair may need to talk to you about an entry. And then council, district, region, or state. So state is already filled out for you. You are either going to have a region or a council or area. You're not going to have both. So for example, if you're in Gwinnett, you might be Area 1, District 12, but you're not going to be an area and a region. Now for DeKalb, they are Region 1 and 2, and so you would put Region 1, District 9, or excuse me, District 11 for DeKalb. And that way, you're only going to have one or the other. You're not going to have both. So for member dues paid, insurance paid, and bylaws paid by date, that's information that helps us to determine if you are in good standing with the state. That information you can get from your secretary, treasurer, or president of your PTA. They should have that information for you. Okay, the next part of the form is the student information. When you get the form, please look at this and make sure this is legible. Also, please check that we have either email address, a phone number, or their mailing address. It doesn't have to be all three. If the parent doesn't want to give out all their information, that's totally fine. But I have to have at least one of those three, because sometimes I do have to get in touch with them. At the state level, if the student wins at the state level and they get invited to the state celebration, they're sent an actual mailed invitation. So if I have at least one of these, then I can contact them and get their address. Or if I have a question about the entry, then I can contact them and get in touch with the parent or whatever and get that information. The signature part is next. The students do need to sign, the parent needs to sign, and then division and category, check those off. Again, on here, you'll see I have listed that the 3D piece cannot be larger than 18 by 18 by 18. Next is the most important part, the title of work and the artist statement. There must be a title of work. Title of work and artist statement are the must-haves. If we don't have that, then the student can't enter or it's disqualified. So very important. If you get an entry and it doesn't have a title of work, please ask your student to give it a title. If not, they can totally use the theme as their title. I matter because, or they can put untitled. That's totally acceptable as well. Either one of those are fine. For the artist statement, it has to be at least 10 words. Has to be at least 10 words. Doesn't have to be 100 words, but it has to be at least 10. So if you get one that says, I like to dance, that's not enough. Please contact that student and ask them for the rest of the statement. I can cut it down if it's more than 100 words, but I can never add words to a form. So when I'm loading these to the National Student Entry Portal, it won't let me type in more than 100 words. So it cuts me off at 100 words, but I cannot add to the statement because it's not my entry. The details section here, this is where you put stuff like if it's a literature piece, how many words are in your piece. And please have the students count their word count so that you're not doing it or I'm not doing it, because it can be quite taxing if they have all the way up to 2,000 words. And most of them are typed on the computer and the computer counts it for them. So all they have to do is look down at the bottom and see the word count. Like for example, see right here, it says 1,576 words is on this document. All they have to do is look down there at the bottom, get that word count and put it right there. If they are doing a film or dance piece and they are using a song in the background, like if they are dancing to Justin Timberlake's Can't Stop the Feeling, put that right there. Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake, background music. If they are doing a visual art piece and it's 2D and it's markers and crayons goes right there. If it's photography and it's a, you took the picture with your iPhone 8, iPhone 8 goes right there. If it's a film and you used your iPhone to film it with, please put that information there, as well as any background music that you use. If it is a 3D piece and it's a clay necklace, then that's where you would put, it's clay necklace, or paper sculpture or whatever. That's what the details section is. It used to be bigger, so it's a little bit confusing now, but the instructions are right here for what goes in that section. Okay, that is it for the student form. Quickly, I'm going to go to the theme search form, which is, hold on, let me get back up to the top. So the second page of the form is the past program themes. And you can see that we always know at least 2 themes at one time. So currently we know that this year's theme is I Matter Because, and then we know that 21-22's theme will be I Will Change the World By. And then come March of 2021, we will know what 22-23's theme is going to be. So this year's theme search contest is for the years 22-23. Okay, on the theme search form, you will see that the first page is the actual form, the entry form. It gives the information here, what they need to do, and then it says you will mail this form to Georgia PTA by November 1st, and the address is listed on the form. So the student fills this out and sends it in themselves. Now, if you want to collect these and mail them all in at once, that's totally fine. You can do that, but otherwise, it's totally up to the student to do that. Then the student information is next after their theme idea. And it's very similar to the entry form. It should be legible, but again, this should come straight from the student, so that's up to me to check on that. And then your school information is here. Please fill this out before you list this form on your website. They can also get this form directly from Georgia PTA, and if they do, that's fine. I can always follow up with the student if they don't fill out their school information. Okay? So, the next thing I wanted to show you is the poster from National this year. It's very similar to the poster in the past that we've used. It's the same kind of color block scheme, has the theme, and then it has the different categories that you can enter by, and then on the bottom it has the box that you can put in your information. Okay. Now the poster for the state of Georgia that was chosen last year is this one, and it looks like this. Let me back that up a little bit. There you go. Okay, so you can see at the top 2021 reflections, and then you can see the student's actual piece, and on the top she wrote, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it matters what you look like on the inside. And then the student's name was Kaylin Weaver, 5th grade from Level Creek Elementary School, Area 2 Gwinnett Council, District 12. And her artist statement was, "You have to look within a person." And Miss Kaylin was a special artist entry, which is a first for the state of Georgia. We've never had a special artist student win in the past. So I'm very proud that hers was chosen this year to be our poster. So if you have any questions or you need any help with your program, please don't hesitate to contact me. Again, my email is reflections@Georgia, spell out the whole word, PTA.org. And then you can send me an email if you need me to call you to go over something in more detail. Just give me your phone number and I will totally do that. I wanted to show you quickly also that all of these things that we went over today are on the Georgia PTA website. I have to just go here because it's not letting me go there. Or is it going to let me go there? No. There it is. So if you go to the Georgia PTA website, and you can go to the Reflections tab. Let's see. Let's just try to go to plain old georgiapta.org. Okay, go there. And it will pull up for you the home page for Georgia PTA. And then on that page, you'll see, sorry, my computer is very slow. I apologize for glitching and being slow today. On the page, you'll see the Reflections tab. Now, on that tab, it has submission information, or it has the Reflections winners. I do suggest that you go to the winners section because you can check out the virtual celebration that we did last year, the virtual announcement of the winners, which also gives you the link to my YouTube channel, which has more training information on it. The training videos are separated out by a couple of categories, so they're not as long as this Zoom is. But you can see the sway that I made for our national winners, and you can see the list of winners from 19 and 20. And it'll give you some ideas about what to do if you need to do a virtual celebration. But the reflection submission info, if you click on that link, it will take you to the reflections page. And that's where you can find all the information. All these pages that we've gone over today are there. Also, you'll see the video that I showed you at the top of the training. Here it says click for reflections training. That lists the other reflections training sessions coming up. There's 2 more in August, and I probably will add another one to that. And then the documents are listed here, and you can go in and open the files like submission documents. You click on that file and it will open up all the things that are in there, like the checklist that I talked about, the celebration guide, instructions for judges, the scorecard that I like, the participation form, and the winner's log. Those 2 things you need to submit entries to the next level. That's all under there. Close that one. And then rules and forms, exactly what it says it is. It has a zip drive of the rules if you want to post that on your website. That's this thing here. It has the student packet on it, the 3 pages that we went over, and then it has each category of rules separated out individually. If someone needs just that category of rules, special artist information, there's more explanation in there about special artist entrant, promotional materials. That one has the volunteer job description, the abridged summary of the rules, the tips and tools for promotion, reflections, arts and education flyer, which arts and education is coming up. It's celebrated the whole month of October, and it is in September, the week of, hold on, let me get that date. Let's see. Where did I put it? anyway, it's in September, the week of September 13th through the 20th. So sorry. September 13th through the 20th is the Arts and Education Week, and that's when you can use that flyer. And then the whole month of October is the Arts and Education National Celebration, is the whole month of October. Humanities Month. Arts and Humanities Month is October. So that information is all under here. The flyer that I showed you from National is in here in Spanish and English. And then there's Facebook text or image that you can use. There's a smaller text that you can use, the logo, and then the other flyers in Spanish and English are in here as well. Then also on this page, anything you see in yellow can be downloaded. So like their checklist here, if you scroll down the page, you will see the judging part is here, the guidelines and the scorecard, how you submit to council, how you submit to state, that information is here. How do you register your program with National? You click on this here and it takes you straight to National, to the registration page. Theme search is on here, and then all the way down at the bottom is the Spanish program information with the Spanish form listed here as well for the theme search. Again, if you have any questions about your program, please don't hesitate to contact me. Reflections@Georgia, spell out the whole word, pta.org. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with this program. We certainly could not do it without you. The kids appreciate it so much, and they love this program. So thank you for that. And if you need any help at all with your program, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.